Welcome to my channel, All for Health with Jane. Family, the Senzo Meyiwa Trial continues. Today, the 20th of May 2025, we see Advocate Mnisi in court focusing more on Muzi Sibiya. Advocate Mnisi questioned Brigadier Gininda on how it happened that Muzi Sibiya became a suspect. Advocate Mnisi wanted to know the reasons why Muzi Sibiya became a suspect, and he questioned that. Family will remember that Brigadier Gininda indicated that the reason why they became interested on Muzi Sibiya and accused number 2 was after Absalom Zungu, the father to Constable Zungu, gave them information that Muzi Sibiya and Bongani Ntanzi were involved in the killing of Senzo Meyiwa. When interrogating the statement by Absalom Zungu, Advocate Mnisi says, because Absalom Zungu said he heard from Mbekiseni Ntuli, who also said he got the information from another Ntanzi that the two were involved in the Senzo Meyiwa murder. So Advocate Mnisi's argument now it's this was just a trail of hearsay stories from different people whom none of them were there when that happened, when Senzo Meyiwa was murdered. So the argument by Advocate Mnisi is that because it's a hearsay, this should not be admitted by the court. It should be declared not admissible by this court. Judge Rata, in response to this, to Advocate Mnisi, Judge Rata says this statement was not admissible. Yes, the statement is on record because it was raised by Mr. Mgomezulu, the late Mr. Mgomezulu. But what he knows is that this was not yet admitted in this court. And Judge Rata says if the statement was admitted for the mere fact that it's a hearsay statement, then the two, who is the state, Mr. Baloyi representing the state, and Advocate Mnisi, should agree. And when they agree, then the court can consider admitting the statement. Alternatively, during the time of the late Mr. Mgomezulu, if the statement was to be admitted, a formal application was supposed to be made and the correct process followed whereby the statement would be admitted by the court officially. So, family, let's listen as Advocate Mnisi is arguing about this and suggesting to the court that this statement can be kept on record but should not be admitted. It should not be admissible to this court. Family, let's listen.
Of the statement from Absalom Zungu, that's now Absalom the senior. Remember yesterday you were still trying to find out the name of the person who Mr. Zungu, the senior, got this information from, and you were able to identify that the person who he got this information from, the information that implicated accused number 1 and 2 in the commission of this offense was a certain Mbekiseni. Is that correct?
That is correct. Correct.
Now, if my memory serves me well, this statement had already been read on record, and it was already admitted in exhibit. Not so. I don't think you're here. I'm sure if you're aware of this, but that is what is happening. the statement now forms part of the evidence. It was read on record.
Yes, I'm aware, my lord, that it was brought into. I do remember.
Under what circumstances?
My lord, my recollection, as I said, it was in relation to when I was testifying on the trial within trial the first time this statement was brought up. It was in relation to what led us to accuse number 1 and 2, and it was insofar as I can recall, and I mentioned the name of Zungu Senior as the person who gave this affidavit, and that made us to focus on accused 1 and 2.
Thank you. And to be
Sorry,
more
Mr. Mnisi.
sorry, madam.
It's important because
Yes.
it's hearsay evidence. Is that not so?
Yes.
Right. So there's got to have been an application in terms of the Evidence Act 88,
Yes, my lord.
right?
Yes.
A formal application that it must be included in the record
Yes.
on the basis that the interest of justice demanded, but because it wasn't deposed to by a person who is presently in court, it was deposed to by Absalom Zungu. Somebody is going to tell the court whether Absalom Zungu is going to give evidence. Is that not so? What does the law say, Mr.?
Well, it is indeed so. It may be admitted in the interest of justice, or if the parties agree to that.
That's it. That's what I'm getting at.
Yes, but we didn't.
So how was it?
We didn't introduce the
They
affidavit.
just.
Whoever, I think it was introduced during
I
cross-examination
know it was
by
during
one
Mr.
of the counsel.
Mgomezulu, the late Mr. Mgomezulu.
Yes.
And I was insisting, but you know how it was. I was insisting that this is hearsay. A proper foundation must be laid for the admission of this statement. Whether the parties themselves agree, that's different.
Yes.
If the state and Mr. Mnisi agree that it must be admitted, then it will be formally admitted.
Yes.
But if he doesn't agree, then it remains hearsay. Then there's an onus on the state either to call Mr. Absalom Zungu or to argue that in his absence,
Yes.
in the interest of justice, that statement should be admitted or admissible. Is that not the law?
Yes, indeed, my lord. But
Mr. Mnisi, do you think I'm quoting the law correctly? Because
yes,
you know, statements here were flying. You remember even with Mr. Ngomezulu, the statement of Kelly Kumalo, the
Yes.
statement of Brigadier. And I said, this is hearsay. No, these are my instructions.
yes.
So what is the status of that statement? According to you, sir, now that you are representing accused number 1.
I'm not so sure, my lord. Well, because now it forms part of the record.
Yeah, but is it
Yes.
admissible or not? It can form part of the record. When I write the judgment, is it
Yes.
admissible?
Because, my lord, of the fact that the information which is contained in here, and it's actually not there. If I would just take this matter further and then come and address the court on this aspect, my lord, then I would be in a position then to give an answer to what the court is asking me. Because there's just one more further aspect that I would want to take in respect of this statement.
Yeah, okay, fine. You can pursue it as long as you don't forget.
Thank you, my lord.
Right.
Thank you, as it pleases the court, my lord. Thank you. Now, Brigadier, this statement forming part of the record, the information being said, that actually came from Mbekiseni, as per your testimony. I had an opportunity to again had a look at the statement, and what struck my mind, or what I was able to identify in the statement on paragraph 3, is that this Mbekiseni himself is not the originator of the information that is contained in here. He himself says, I got this information from from one Ntanzi from another Ntanzi. In other words, Mpekiseni himself got this information from a person that he refers to as some other Ntanzi. Do you understand?
I understand, my lord, and I'm not disputing that.
Thank you.
But the fact that I was saying, in this statement, it is clearly explicit by Absalom Zungu that accused 1 and 2 were involved in the killing of Senzo Meyiwa.
That is what is contained in the statement, Brigadier. And for you to say that, that is what Mpekiseni is saying, that accused number 1 and 2 were involved in the commission of this offense, is a misnomer, because he says in the statement, I got that information from this other Ntanzi. In other words, the originator or the source of this information, it's not him, Mpekiseni, but it is this other Ntanzi.
No, but my lord, that's not what I've said. I didn't. The person who made a statement to me is Absalom Zungu. The name of Mpekiseni came as to when the question was asked to me whether Mr. Absalom Zungu was the source of this information. And I said, I do recall that there was another person, insofar as I could recall. And that's how we got to Mpekiseni. So there's no assertion from me that I said Mr. Mpekiseni is the source. I said, I remember that there was another person, and we spoke to that person, and that person was not willing to come forward in fearful of his life, my lord.
Now, would you agree with me then that paragraph 3, Mpekiseni, in fact, Absalom Zungu, the senior, says, Mpekiseni told him that he got this information from another Ntanzi.
Yes, I'm not denying it, my lord.
Thank you, my lord. Back to what the court asked me on whether or not this statement should stand. Now, on the trajectory of the information that is narrated in the statement here, it is undoubtedly clear that it is a trail of hearsay. It is a trail of hearsay. So, and hearsay is not admissible, my lord. So, as it is, this statement, it carries no value unless this other Ntanzi can come and testify and say, I am the originator of this information, and I'm aware under what circumstances these assertions were made. Then the matter must just die there, my lord. In other words, the statement carries no value with regard to the assertions that are contained in here that accused number 1 and number 2 were involved in the commission of this offense. Look, it's a trail of hearsay. That would be my submission.
Mr. Malui, what's your view?
As a court, please, my lord, the court will recall that at the inception of the evidence of Brigadier Gininda, we were at pains to avoid this hearsay evidence. In fact, if I recall, the evidence of Brigadier Gininda was to the effect that he received a report from Mr. Absalom Zungu, because as court officials, we are aware that we may not lead hearsay evidence, but my late colleague then went and introduced the hearsay evidence, and we cannot stop him. If a party wishes to introduce hearsay evidence, then they must, lie on the bet that they make. And Mr. Mgomezule has introduced hearsay evidence at his own accord, well aware what the legal position is. He must, the defense must therefore, my lord, sleep on the bet that they've made. It cannot be retracted, it's on record. We submit, my lord, that it has to remain on record. The statement is already admitted, despite the fact that it's, as Advocate Mnisi pointed out, it's triple hearsay evidence. I mean, that's why we didn't call Mr. Zungu Senior to testify, as his evidence, according to Exhibit Triple U, amounts to triple hearsay evidence.
Okay, you have to address me at the end of the case, Mr. Baloi and Mr. Mnisi, okay?
As it is the court, my lord.
Yeah.
I just pray that I don't forget that.
Hello?
I'm saying I will just pray that I don't forget what the
No,
court
me, I
is-
won't forget.
Yes, my lord. Thank you, my lord.
Yeah.
Yes. Basically, we would not have requested that this statement be retracted, but the information contained therein be disregarded, my lord. It is evidence, of course. It cannot be retracted, but request that the information contained therein, on the basis of the fact that it is inadmissible, it should then be disregarded, my lord. As it please the court, my lord. Thank you.
Family, to wrap up this point, Judge Rata agreed that this issue will be discussed during their main arguments. So that's where they will discuss this statement, whether it is admissible or not. So, but anyway, family, if the statement is not admissible, in case it is not admissible, then this is not going to be considered. And now Brigadier Gininda need to give another reason why Muzi Sibiya became a suspect in the murdering of Senzo Meyiwa, or in this case, why did he become a suspect? So family, thank you so much for watching this video to the end. Please like it before you leave. Subscribe for my channel if you haven't done so yet. I love you, family. Thank you. Bye.